Hi guys! Today we are going to be learning about counting techniques, and I am going to be working with these little bear counters right here, and we are going to be working with the number 30. So let's get started, and we are going to count out our bears one by one, and this is called counting by ones, and we are going to just count out our 30 bears. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So now we have our 30 bears. Now a quicker way to count these bears is if we want to do skip counting. Skip counting is a lot faster because we can just count out more than one at a time. So let's say we want to make them into groups of 2. So we can just go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. Still 30 bears, we just counted them a lot faster because we didn't count them by ones. Now, let's say we want to use a bigger number, like 5. So we can count out 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And then if we want to go for an even bigger number, we can count by 6. So here's 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. Still the same number of bears, 30 bears. We just counted them a lot faster than counting by each bear. Now, the next method is called subitizing, and that's just being able to look at the number of objects we have and identify the number that way. And that is a lot easier with a less quantity. So we're just going to use 5 bears. So if I just put this many out, we know that that's just 2, just by looking at it. We add another one, that's 3. Take out 1, that's 1. Place them like this, we can just look at it, and it looks like it would be the way it is on a dice. So we could just say that's 5. That's a really quicker way to count than skip counting or counting by ones. So that's a more convenient way to count. Another way we can count is by using a 10 frame. And a 10 frame is a big rectangle with 10 little squares in it. We have 2 rows of 5 squares, and we can just put this 10 frame out. And if I put bears on each square, then we know that because this is a 10 frame, that there are 10 bears here. We could fill up all of our 10 frames. I have 3 10 frames here, and if we filled them all up, we would know that there are 10 bears on each square, so we could skip count by 10, and just go 10, 20, and 30. So we know that there are 30 bears on 3 10 frames. Now let's say I want to take off one of my 10 frames. So we have our 10 here, and then we have our 10 frame here, and I take off these bears. So we have 10 and 5. So we know that's 15. So we went over 4 different counting techniques today. We did counting by ones, so that just means just counting each object individually. We went over skip counting, and that's just a way to count things a little faster. So we can count by 2s, we can count by 4s, we can count by 3s, 5s, whichever number that fits into the number of bears or whatever objects we're counting. We learned how to subitize, and that just means that we learned how to look at the number of objects we have, usually a smaller amount, and know that we can recognize the number of objects on there just by looking at it. And then we learned how to use counting with a 10 frame, which means that we have our squares here, and we know that there are 10 on here. So we know if we have 10 objects on here, that there are, and the whole board is filled up, we know that there'll be 10 objects on there. And if we just have objects on the top row, that means that we'll just have 5 objects if they take up the whole top row. Now we're moving on to Module 2, and we are going to be doing addition and subtraction methods. And we are going to be working first with our 10 frame. And this is the same 10 frame we used in counting, and it's just a big rectangle with 10 squares in there. So there's 2 rows of 5 squares, and we're going to be using 2 of those. And then we're going to be using our counting bears like we did in our counting video. Down. We have our 2 10 frames, and let's say I want to add 6 red bears, there's 6 red bears, and then add 6 blue bears. So we have 6 red bears, 6 blue bears. Now we know if we fill up our whole 10 frame, that'll give us 10. So we're going to move up some blue bears. There we go. So we have a whole 10 frame and 2. So we know 10 plus 2 is 12. Now let's do 7 red bears and 9 blue bears. And I want to add my 7 red bears and my 9 blue bears together. So again, we're going to fill up the 10 frame, and we have some blue bears down here. So we know that 10, and then we have 6. So 10 and 6 is 16. And that's just a quick way to add, because we can recognize that we already have 10 if one of our 10 frames is filled up. Now, another method we are going to use to add is called the associative property. Now, let's say we're going to add together 3 numbers. Like we're going to have 1 plus 4 plus 7. Now, associative property means we can group 2 of these numbers together. So let's group together the 1 and the 4. The 1 and the 4 will give us 5, and then we can add 5 plus 7 equals 12. Now let's write the same number again. Same problem. 1 plus 4 plus 7. And we can group together the 4 and the 7. So that gives us 11. And then the 1 gives us the 12. So it's the same thing, same problem, just grouping it together differently, but it gives you the same answer. Let's try some bigger numbers. Let's say I have 30 apples, and then I have 70 strawberries, lots of strawberries, plus, let's have like 120 oranges. It's all our fruit at school for the day. So, we have, let's group together the 30 and the 70. That gives us 100 plus 120, and that gives us 220. So that's just an easier way that we can group together our numbers and make our addition a little less stressful with 3 numbers. Now, the associative property only works with addition. We can't do it with subtraction, because if we try to do like 4 minus 2 plus 5, we can group together this 4 and the 2, and that'll give us plus 5. Now we have 4 minus 2 plus 5. Let's group together the 2 and the 5. So we'll have 4 minus 7, and that gives us negative 3. So this answer won't match this answer. So it doesn't work with subtraction, only addition. Now, let's go on to a method that works with both addition and subtraction. And this is called the place value method. So let's say we have the problem 32 plus 14 plus 10. Now this looks a little hard to do since it's 3 numbers across. So let's try to do it up and down. We know that 2 and 4 is 6, 3 plus 1 is 4, and 4 plus 1 is 5. So that's a lot easier to do up and down. Now let's try to do a bigger number. Let's try to do some bigger numbers. Let's do 256 plus 131 plus 267. So we have our 256 plus 131 and 267. So I did it up and down, same problem across and up and down. So we have 6 and 1 is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14. So we put the 4 down here, we carry the 1 up here. 1 and 5 is 6, 6 and 3 is 9, 9 and 6 is 15. So we're going to put our 5 down there and our 1 up here. 1 and 2 is 3, 3 and 1 is 4, and 4 and 2 is 6. So I know that it is 654. Now we are going to do a subtraction problem. Let's say we have 268 minus 104 minus 51. So we're going to have our 268 minus 104 minus 51. So we're going to do 8 minus 4 is 4, and 4 minus 1 is 3. 6 minus 0 is 6, and 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So it's going to give us 113. So the methods we went over today are counting, doing addition with our 10 frames. We did the associative property, which was using 3 numbers and grouping 2 of them together. And we know that that doesn't work with subtraction because it won't give us the same answer. And then we did place value, which means we did the problem up and down and carried our numbers from each side. And that is addition and subtraction for Module 2.